Newman City Council Redevelopment Agency regular meeting of July 12th to order, please. Please stand for the pledge. Ready to begin? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Hutchins, please.
Father, we just ask tonight that you'll give us wisdom as we deal with your business. And we just thank you for this crowd here tonight, and we thank you for the new addition, and we just ask you'll be with us and guide us. And we ask this all in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis, Hutchins,
Present.
Candia,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Martino,
Present.
Mayor Katie.
Present. Item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing none, we'll go to item 6, ceremonial matters. A, bad opinion of Reserve Officer Ronald Singh. I'd like to welcome some of my fellow Merced County employees. They're present with us. Chief.
Evening, Mayor, council members. I'd like to introduce you to the newest member of our Newman Police Department and family, Ronil Singh.
Sorry, Bob. Sorry, Chief. I wasn't on here.
Okay. You good now?
I'm good.
All right. Tell you a little bit about Ronil. Ronil was born and raised in Fiji, and then he migrated to America in 2003, specifically Modesto, California. He started his career as a mechanic and had lunch right around 1 o'clock. And thankfully that Cops plays their reruns right around 1 o'clock every day. This is what got him interested in law enforcement, and he said, hey, I need to go to school for this. So he enrolled at MJC in criminal justice, where he later on received his Associate's of Science degree in criminal justice. While he was taking classes at MJC, he began working for the Modesto Police Department as a volunteer. He left the Modesto Police Department to accept a job at the Turlock Police Department as an animal control assistant. Ronil was quickly noticed that animal control wasn't his thing. He was moved to a police cadet where he worked as a neighborhood preservation technician. He'd go clean up neighborhoods and go on private property and tow vehicles. Somebody we probably should talk to. From there, he decided he wanted to join the police academy. In 2007, 2008, not a whole lot of people were putting people through the agencies were putting people through the academy. So he found an academy in Yuba City, which is about 3 hours from home. And he drove 3 hours each way to and from school because he was so dedicated towards law enforcement. He graduated the police academy in 2008, where after that he went to work for the Merced County Sheriff's Department, where he just left Merced County Sheriff's Department as a court bailiff to come work for us. He was a level 1 reserve with them, and he's a level 1 reserve with us. Joining Ronil tonight, and I'm going to apologize if I mess up anybody's names or leave anybody out. I would like to introduce a lot of family and friends. As you can tell, we never have this many people in the audience, so they're all family and friends.
I thought maybe we had some problems, some issues.
5 minutes after this, they're all going to be out the door eating dinner. His father, Veer Singh, his mother, Rohini Singh, his wife, Anamika Chand, his grandmother, Satya Singh. Going on to friends, his former supervisor at Turlock PD, Bob Boyd, and his wife, Linda Boyd. Is a Commissioner Jacobs with the Merced County Courts Los Banos Division is here tonight. Officer De Silva from the Atwater Police Department is here tonight. Deputy Golis from the Merced County Sheriff's Department is with us tonight. Former co-worker, Police Cadet Juan Carrillo is here tonight. Retired CHP Sergeant and current Reserve Deputy with Merced County Sheriff's Department, Tony Cruz. Are we leaving anybody out? No. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you, Ronil, to follow me up front. We're going to do your swearing in up here in front of everybody, just so you can be a little more embarrassed, maybe. I would normally not tell you to turn your back to the council members, but we want to face the community and the people that you'll be serving. So what I need you to do is raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do affirm.
I, Ronil Singh, do affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. I would like to invite up his wife, Anamika Chan, and his mother and father, Veer and Rohini Singh. They're going to do his wife's going to do the badge pinning. Mother and father are going to stand beside him. So feel free to stick it into this chip.
Airborne.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ronell.
Thanks.
Welcome.
And I think Ronell wants to say a few words there. Come back over here, Ronell. You can use the microphone.
I don't have a lot to say, but I will definitely tell you all that I'm very happy today. I would like to thank all the City Council members and Chief Randy Richardson, Lieutenant Short for hiring me. I'm very proud of becoming a Newman Police Department member. I would like to thank each and everyone for being here today and supporting me. Special thank goes to Bob Boyd, who was my former supervisor. I met him. Ever since I met him, he acted as a mentor, and because of him, I succeeded in my career goals. Thanks to Commissioner Jacobs for being here, and De Silva, and all the friends I worked with. That's all.
Congratulations. Welcome. Well, you left a first-class organization and you're coming to another first-class organization, Ronell, so welcome to Newman. I think you'll find it very rewarding here.
Mayor, if you'd like to take just a quick couple-minute break, I'm sure they want to clear out here.
You sure they don't want to stay and watch the sideshow?
Are you guys going to have
More than
cookies
welcome
without
to,
us?
but I'm guessing not.
I mean, there's a lot of excitement.
If you want to leave, now's your time to leave.
The barking dog was last week.
Oh, that's right, okay. Wow.
They're all over the, it was like car commercial where it's a big giant stock. Yeah, the kids' toys are backseat, and I'm like,
Okay. Now that's cleared out, we're back to normal. We'll go to item B, is a civility presentation by Stanislaus County Superintendent of Schools, Tom Shenanigan. I never say that right.
Chagnon, but
Yeah,
that's
that's
close
it.
enough. Thank you
That's
very
it.
much, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, staff, and audience that's left. I'll make this brief, but I thank you for the opportunity to talk to the group today. And this morning, I spoke to the Board of Supervisors downtown. They had their meeting this morning, and I can tell you, I just about fell over in shock. There's actually a community in our county that's hiring law enforcement. Yay! Because Adam Christensen was not exactly a happy camper today with what's happening with his department. So congratulations. That's a nice ceremony, and well done, well done. So I have great news to share with you today, because Stanislaus County is on the map again for something very positive. And so I have met with the mayor already, so I want to make this presentation as brief as possible, and yet let you understand the impact and the implications of what this Choose Civility initiative is doing in Stanislaus County. First of all, this is the third initiative that the county office has implemented. As you remember, a couple years ago, we did Everyday Counts. It was an attendance campaign, and it generated in 2 years $3 million of additional revenue into district budgets. And that was just making attendance and the awareness of that to parents, the importance of students getting to school. And it made a big difference. And 2 years ago, because of all of a sudden the stark reality of childhood obesity in our communities, we switched and got involved with Fit for the Future. And the superintendents, when I told them we were going to do this Fit for the Future, Tom, wait, we like this attendance thing because it's money in our in our revenues coming in. But when I showed them the reports of childhood obesity in each one of their school districts, they said, okay, what do we have to do? And with that 2 years, we were recognized 2 years in a row, #1 county in the state of California for being involved with the fitness campaign that the then Governor Schwarzenegger was promoting. And I'm happy to let you know that it was a community effort in all of our cities throughout Stanislaus County that made us #1. And when I show this picture to the students, they go, "Oh, the Terminator, the Terminator." Well, now I got to get this picture out. They say, "Tom, you can't use that picture anymore because Arnold, he's once again another politician, elected official that has gone to the dark side with his character." So here we're talking about civility, and I've got a picture with him. But that medallion he is awarding was presented because we were the #1 county, Stanislaus, in the state of California. And last year there were 6 times that his office called me, said the governor would like you to join him in San Diego on Thursday. Can you be there? And I'd say, well, just a second, let me check my schedule. Oh, I can be there. And I would go down and he'd have these press events and he would introduce me and I would explain to the audience what we were doing in Stanislaus County to have so much success with our fitness program. And he would introduce us as Stanislaus County, the model in the state of California. And it was really gratifying to know that we were being recognized for something very positive. That's why I know the Civility Initiative can go, because when our community gets together throughout Stanislaus County, we do great things. The first thing we have to do is get our young people away from the me. They're always tuning up for what's in it for me. And we have to get their mindset turned so that they understand service to others is more important than thinking about themselves. So why are we doing civility? We know that it's a core community value, that you can't have vibrant neighborhoods if you don't have neighbors that don't even talk to each other. I challenge people when I do a workshop presentation to go home at night and to walk outside their front door and look 3 doors down on either side and tell me if you know the first names of your neighbors. And many of them, sadly, they can't. Well, they work here and they go home, they just drive in their garage, we never see each other. Well, how can we have vibrant communities when we don't even have neighbors that we know? Back where I came from, you're always waving to neighbors, you knew everybody. Everybody took care of the newspaper if you were gone, and we need to get back to that. So it's a core community value. Secondly, civil dialogue is critical in decision making. People say, well, Tom, why'd you get started with this in the first place? I tell you, it was about a year and a half ago when I was invited out to many school board meetings because the superintendents would say, Tom, can you come out and explain to the audience how district budgets work? Because they think I and my board are making horrible decisions because we're always cut. And would you please tell them that the county office oversees all these budgets? And I would do that, but sadly, before I would get on to speak, I would see behavior that our founding fathers would roll over in their graves. Several times, the board chair would be pounding with a gavel. Order in here, order, please show some respect. And I understand emotions are high and people are frustrated because of these cuts, but it was terrible. It was shameful to see adults behaving this way. And a lot of the audience would have their children with them. And I'm thinking, the kids see this and they think, well, this must be the norm for behavior. And so we have to have civil dialogue if we're going to have discussions that take place. We're not always going to agree on everything. But most importantly, we have to be role models for children. You know, recently there was something in the paper about a mom arrested because she engineered a fight between her son and somebody else. And then when it was broken up, she said, hey, stay out of my business. This is the way we handle things in my family. Well, that is not a civil society. And this was just happened this last spring. So we know that we have our work cut out, but we know that we can do it because we have to. I'm going to show you just a 2-minute little video clip on some YouTube that you'll get the idea. I'll cut it off without showing the whole thing. But can you put that speaker on that?
The outburst. These days, it seems whatever is on your mind simply comes out of your mouth. So what happened to finding your P's and Q's?
My mom says mind your manners, no children with a view. May I instead of give me, careful what you do. Here we go!
There's not a song in the world you could sing. I'll take you out, buddy.
You're gonna take me out?
Yeah.
How you gonna do that?
Watch.
Ukraine sucks.
Reality shows, talking heads, and the internet have become platforms for incivility, ripping at the very core of social discourse.
It became apparent that civility had finally had its last nail driven into its coffin, and there were a series of outbursts in very close proximity.
Kanye West storming the stage at the VMA show. Congressman Joe Wilson shouting, "You lie," at the president. And Serena Williams cursing out the ref at the U.S. Open.
That was fun.
This was reflecting something bigger that was going on within the culture.
Round two. A culture that thrives on getting attention and a need for the spotlight. Mr. and Mrs. Salahi.
Do you have a chance to create your Facebook profile picture? Are you going to have it be a photo of you with your parents at the Grand Canyon? Or are you going to do something that looks like this? This is me naked with my cell phone alone in my bathroom. And the things that people were saying to each other is kind of a global epidemic of road rage.
Now you believe you are as useless as I thought you were.
Even turning rudeness into an art form.
That was a musical wipeout. Really so many words I could drag out of my vocabulary saying how awful that was.
Okay, so you get the idea that what happens here. Our society and social media is just gone over the top. I don't know, you couldn't hear, sorry I didn't have the sound on that, but you know, the judge says you may go to that, the person that was at the podium said you're as worthless as I thought you were. And then the judge on the American Idol said there's only so many words I can drag out of my mouth to tell you how awful that was. I mean, our society is caught up in sarcasm and put downs, and our kids are growing up with this, and we have to change. And this is something, the impact of social media. This is Lady Gaga. She was in the news recently. She became the first person to have 9 million people following her on Twitter. 9 million, and they said that the majority of these are kids between the ages of 9 and 13. Now, how would you like your daughter obsessed with everything that this lady does? Now, she makes Britney Spears look pretty tame. Now, you can see that her hair's in rollers. Well, those aren't rollers. Those are beer cans that she's got her hair curled up in. And I'm telling you, she is really out there. Now, is she talented? There's no question she's a very talented individual. But is that who we want as a role model for our next generation of leaders in this country? Her 9 million tweets are more than these countries have as total population. And so you ask yourself, what's happening in our society when our young people are really tuned into this instead of role models that are more appropriate? We know about research and what they say about public belief in different things, government, politics. We know what they think about that. But this last one on high schools, this is a concern. Of all the number of people that they surveyed, almost 60% of students and staff said that they felt unsafe on their high school campuses. How sad. How can we have a learning environment when young people don't even feel safe at their own schools and staff? And so we have to do something and curb what is happening in many of our schools. Bullying is a big part of that. And we know it's an aggressive behavior, and it has impact on other students, whether you're at school or at a park in the summer, at the swimming pool. There's bullying that takes place everywhere, and there's myths associated. Many people think it's a school problem and let the teachers and administrators handle it. It's not. It's a social problem that happens outside of schools. We operate juvenile hall, and I can tell you when I go over there and I talk to these young men that are incarcerated in juvenile hall, 14, 15, 16 years old, and they're in there for fighting and everything, they've witnessed abuse at home, and that's just the way they think that they should be acting. We also know that people are born bullies, and we know that that's a learned behavior, and it can be changed. We have to work on that. So the vision for our county with civility is we want to be known throughout the state for healthy, vibrant, thriving communities. And so the goals of the campaign, here it is, promote the importance of civility in a world becoming less civil, and then yourself, try to be a better person at work and at home. And that's what we ask people to do. The simple goals, the initial steps. We found a book last year, and it's called Choosing Civility by Dr. Forney, 25 Rules of Considerate Conduct. And we identified this book. I went to one of our supporters in education. She said, Tom, I like the idea. It's about time we did something in our county about civility. How can I help? I said, I want 5,000 of these books. And she wrote me a check for the amount, 5,000 of these books. They came in, and we identified in our Stanislaus County 30 people who we thought were movers and shakers in our county. The mayor's one of them right here. We asked them to join us and be on our board of advisors. And every one of the people that I went and visited last year in August agreed to be part of the advisory committee. They realized that this is important in our communities to promote civility. And I gave the mayor a half a dozen of these books. I said, read this book, Mr. Mayor, and pass it on to your colleagues so that we can get this out. So we know that there's 5,000 of these books in circulation in Stanislaus County. We have working committees working on partnerships and events and marketing. There's no money that's coming out of the county office. There's no money that's coming out of school districts because this is all money that's being put up by partners and sponsors that have stepped up and said, we need to do this. We asked our board of advisors to vote. And the mayor, we said, there's 25 rules in this. First thing, we're going to change rules because Lord knows nobody likes to be told rules nowadays. So we called them principles. We said, take these 25 and identify the top 12 that you think are important for Stanislaus County. And this is what they came up with. And I'm not going to, you can see all these, and I've got some bookmarks that I'm going to give you that you can have. The only one I will say is on listen. Everybody thinks, well, listen, that's kind of basic. Well, let me tell you. When our daughter was about 6 years old, many years ago, I came home from work one day, and all I would just want to do is get home, read the paper, see how the Giants were doing. And back in those days, they weren't doing too well. But anyway, I'm reading the paper, and she's talking to me. She's like first grade, and I'm carrying on a conversation, and she just snatches the newspaper right out from me. And I'm thinking, hey. And before I could even discipline her, she said, Daddy, would you listen to me with your eyes? And I started thinking about that. That's pretty profound. Listen with your eyes. We all associate listening with our ears, but respectful listening is when you make eye contact with people. And how often in our crazy busy world that we're involved in today in our society, that we're listening supposedly to people that are talking to us and we're not even looking at them. And that's the first thing we have to correct. Just become a better listener and engage that conversation with your families. We have a whole day training that we do on this, and one of the activities is we work, and I'm working with Juvenile Hall. I ask these students, we pick one of these a week. It's a 12-week program, and I ask them to rate themselves on how are they as a listener. Okay, what can you do to be a better listener, And this next week, you're going to work on that. And then the next week, we come back before we go to number 2. They report out how they did improving on number 1. And we go through all of those. So the only other one, speak kindly. It just seems like a natural thing, isn't it? I mean, when you read the book, you feel like your grandma's talking to you all over again, about the way, you were raised. But here's the deal. The other day I was asked to come and speak to one of our local high schools and about careers. And so as I was walking to the school, the passing bell rang, and I'm going through the hallway, and it's shoulder to shoulder. It's a busy place. And these 2 young men are engaged in a conversation that escalates. And the language is unbelievable. And it gets to the point where I think because of the foul language that's coming out, they're going to fight each other. So I gently tapped one of the boys on the shoulder. And I said, hey, do we have a problem here? Do I need to intervene? And they looked at me and said, well, no, this is the way we talk to each other all the time. And I thought, how sad that you have to use that coarse language to just carry on a normal conversation. I said, I find that offensive. And they said, well, we're sorry. If they are, if they're called on it, they'll correct it. I said, you wouldn't talk to your mom or dad in a conversation like that, or your siblings. So why do you think you have to use it here to be, tough guy or something? But speak kindly is really critical as one of our principles. So here's what we've done. We kicked this off last year. We had Michael Joseph came in last fall. He is the CEO president of Character Accounts International. He came and spoke to educators, and then he spoke to 400 business leaders about ethics in the workplace. Because, this is not just a school initiative. This is everybody. We're getting everybody involved. And he did a great job with that. Many of our schools are now involved with his program. Greg Mortensen was the quickest sellout they've had at the Gallo Center. 1,200 tickets sold in less than a week. He's the author of 3 Cups of Tea. He's over in Afghanistan trying to build schools for young girls. And he said he builds a school and the Taliban come in and blow it up. And then he builds another one and they blow it up because they don't want, obviously, young people educated because they're training them to be terrorists. But he was very good, and he partnered with us on this civility initiative. We had in December Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Nobel Prize winner, came to MJC and talked about what a small group of caring, committed people can do to change a culture. And he commended us for what we're doing in Stanislaus County by promoting civility. And then in January we had Mr. Lookadoo, and he is involved with the anti-bullying campaign. He's talked to parents and students at a number of different high schools. So we have had some great events that have come in and brought the awareness of this, and we've had terrific coverage in the local papers from the west side all the way over to the Oakdale Leader. We have a website. We're up and running. We have you can go to the website and you go on and link to any number of things. If you're in education, you can see what different schools are doing. If you're in business, you can see what businesses are doing. I'm not going to talk about these schools other than to say that we have 164 schools that are partners with the Civility Initiative, and they're doing wonderful things. And in addition, look at what government are doing. We have different municipal advisory committees that have joined on. Doctors Medical Center, we are training their entire staff because when I presented to the CEO of Doctors, he realized that their employees need to do a better job at being more compassionate with their patients and family members and treat them with more civility. You don't think about that, but so we're going through a training there. Turlock City Council, they do a civility oath prior to each one of their meetings. This is the next to last city council that I am addressing, and then I will have done the Board of Supervisors and all the city council. Hopefully the city council will pass a resolution on civility, and then everybody will be on board. Local businesses, we have now 89 businesses in Stanislaus County that have signed on board, and they're doing a variety of things. The Modesto Nuts, their theme this year is Nuts for Civility, and they did a number of promos with their mascots on civility, and in between innings at the games, they show these. So the kids are kind of watching, but they're seeing their mascots, acting in an appropriate way. The Stanislaus County Fair, we're all gearing up for the fair coming up. Their theme, Let's Be Fair. They gave us 5,000 tickets to the fair to give out to students this spring that were displaying acts of character and civility. And we've given those out, and with those coupons came $2 off for mom and dad. So it's a win-win all the way around. And recently, all 130 businesses at Vintage Fair Mall said, we're in. We want posters, we want whatever you've got, because sometimes if you go down to the mall on a Friday night, that's not exactly the most civil place to be as well. So we're working on all of that. what we're saying, if you have meetings that you conduct, please put civility on your agenda and just talk about it. What's going on? These are posters that we have that are available, and here's a sample resolution that you can use and sign off to just say that we're going to do this. Become a partner. That's the biggest thing that we're asking people to do. There's no charge. There's no commitment. We want your name so that we can add it to our list, because as this list grows, it's going to be kind of like some of those Love Modesto and those different activities and events where it just grows and people think, well, man, I want to sign up for this because I'm missing the boat. So we're asking people, I'm going to pass those out tonight too as I leave, to become a partner with this initiative. On Facebook, be a friend. Find out what's happening on Facebook. We've got thousands of people that are following us on that. And we know that this is happening. That's not my car. I wished it was. No, I got the old 95 Buick LeSabre, but that's okay. But notice, civility here. Somebody sent this in on Facebook. They had a birthday party, and they made the cake choose civility. So we have to keep this civility word in front of our children all the time. All the time we have to do that. We have wristbands that are available that say choose civility. We have pens, window decals, bumper stickers. We have a store. You go on our website, you can use your credit card, you can buy things online through our store. These are nice lapel pins that say choose civility. We had a contest with the students to come up with a design for t-shirts. Here it is. It says just be nice. Choose civility on the logo. It's great. What we're doing now is we're asking, one of our partners came up and said, I'll buy 500 t-shirts to give them to the county office. So what we did then is we told the school districts, you recognize kids every board meeting, we'll come out, we'll give them t-shirts. And so we're getting these t-shirts out. Moms and dads come, pictures. Everybody's happy. We have a school board meeting. There's finally something positive happening with it. And it's good stuff that's happening there. So the t-shirts are great. Many of the businesses are buying these. And on Friday Casual Work Day, they're letting their employees wear these. So you're seeing them all around. I had one of these on a couple Fridays ago, and I was walking downtown. Somebody stopped me and said, hey, were you on American Idol? And I said, well, no. I said, why do you ask? They said, well, that t-shirt looks kind of like that American Idol t-shirt. I couldn't tell you, but it started the conversation. That's what we're doing, starting the conversation. So once again, if you haven't read that book, read the book. Model the civility principles. Talk to your kids and grandkids. That's what we're asking you to do. Become a partner. And somebody once said, Tom, this is kind of a sissy thing to be doing, isn't it? And I said, no, it's not a sissy thing to be doing because John Kennedy said it's not. I want you to know that there are things happening in the paper, and this is spreading because I have spoken to all the county superintendents in the state, and we now have 5 different counties that are doing the Choose Civility with us. And I wanted to read this one. It said, this one gentleman said, Tom, I feel compelled to send you a thank you note for your work with the civility initiative that your office is sponsoring. I was in the audience at the Ceres City Council meeting this week and happened to have my 13-year-old son with me. Part of spring break means going to work with Dad. Your presentation made the meeting for us, and we talked about it the whole time back to our drive home into Oakdale. We both concluded that individual people and small acts of civility can make all the difference in the big picture. It is refreshing to see this kind of effort in our community, as I consider it a privilege to live and raise my family here in Stanislaus County. We get hundreds of emails like this from people that are really grateful for what's going on with our county. This one I'm just going to read, and this will be the end. I had the pleasure of being in the audience at your presentation to the Rotary State Conference in Sacramento this morning. They asked me to be the keynote speaker at the Rotary Conference. I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing and the inspiring message you delivered. I was fortunate to win a t-shirt. I give some of these t-shirts out during the course of the presentation. And by answering your baseball trivia question and found a new home for it before I left the event. The gentleman I gave it to said it would be going to his daughter who teaches 8th grade and she would wear it in her classroom. I would love to be able to purchase a quantity of these shirts to give to our grandkids and their friends. I would like to order 25 of these t-shirts. I wholeheartedly believe in the Choose Civility campaign and would love to help spread the word. This lady sent that from Sacramento area. So we know that we can make this happen. We've demonstrated it with our Fit for the Future. When I finish and close with students, I have a book that I refer to. This book is called Faking It. And it's not a bestseller, but it is out there on the bookstores. And you look at the cover, and it's a young couple, and they're kind of dressed nice, and they got the champagne, celebrating something. And then you take the cover off, the flap, and then there are typical kids that are in jeans and tank top and cutoffs, and they're drinking a beer. The thing that's disturbing to me that I talk to young people about, it says, how to seem like a better person without actually improving yourself. This book is full of ideas on how to find shortcuts to success in life. When I talk to young people, I said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there are no shortcuts to success. The road to success in this life is work, and you got to work. And I said, you probably know kids and friends that you have that are faking it. They're faking their way to be a reader. They're faking their way to be in some clique at school. And eventually, they're going to have to look at themselves in the mirror and get real with themselves and who they are. And the sooner they do that, the better. And ladies and gentlemen, by promoting civility in our county, we can help all those wayward young people to get into that mode sooner than later and help this county be recognized throughout the state and nation as a county that's doing its efforts. And just not to brag or boast, but on July 29th, we received an invitation to go back to the White House for a reception, and Michelle Obama is giving us a certificate already for the work that we've done. They've heard about this somehow, and we're going back for a reception on the White House lawn to be recognized for civility. So Stanislaus County, again, on the map. So thank you very much, and you don't have to approve it tonight, but if you wouldn't mind, and then we can add that to our list, we'd appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. I'm going to give you some bookmarks and these partnerships. If you wouldn't mind keeping those, I would appreciate that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And I'm sure maybe staff can bring back a resolution, and we'll participate in that. I think it's highly appropriate. And Tom, I'd like to thank you for your hard work and spearheading this.
Thank you very much.
It's great.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
It's great.
Appreciate it.
Okay. We'll go item C is a proclamation recognizing Tom Applegate's service to the community and the city of Newman. And I have a proclamation here in front of me, and as y'all know, Tom has been a longtime member of our community, former council member, former planning commissioner, and architectural review committee member. Tom's done just about everything. So just briefly, it says, whereas Tom Applegate through his community service has contributed to making Newman a better place to live, whereas Tom Applegate served on the Newman Architectural Review Committee from 2005 to 2011, served on the Planning Commission from 1995 to 1999, and then again from 2004 till his recent resignation in June. As you know, Tom his health is not the best, and I believe he's living down south somewhere with family members now. So anyway, this proclamation will be sent off to Tom, and I'd like to thank him for his many years of service to our community.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to read the last line? Tom's going to be watching.
I'm sorry. I'm sure Tom's watching. I don't want to be chastised. Whereas Tom Applegate has demonstrated the strength of the human spirit by continuing to be a constant presence in the community despite his numerous health issues. And whereas Tom and these whereas these and other accomplishments performed by Tom Applegate exemplify the true spirit of Newman. Now, therefore, I, Ed Caton, Mayor, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, July 12, 2011, as Tom Applegate Day in the city of Newman. Thank you, Tom. Okay, now we'll move on. Item 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. Any member of the public wish to address the council? Now's the time to do it. Please step forward, state your name. For the record, please.
Hi, my name is Wayne Philbrook, and I want to introduce myself as the new branch manager of your Newman Branch Library. I want to let you know about some programs that are going on at the library this month. Our June hiatus for story time is over, and we will have story time every Wednesday at 10 a.m. through the month of September. The Stanislaus County Fair begins on July 15th, and children can take a quiz on Esperanza Rising on the library's website and win a voucher for a free child's entry to the 2011 Stanislaus County Fair. The summer reading program is underway. Children, teens, and adults can win various prizes for reading. All entries and reading logs have to be returned to the library by August 15th. And we are having a ventriloquist/puppet show at the Newman Library on July the 23rd. All of these programs, these free programs, are brought to you through the 1/8 cent dedicated sales tax that helps support the library. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you down at the library.
Thank you. Any questions of Wayne?
What time is that on the 23rd?
The ventriloquist show is at 3:30.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Welcome. Okay, we'll go to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the June 28, 2011 regular meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull these new warrant numbers, 100017.
All right. Item number 100017. Approved. Okay, act separately on that item. Approval of the warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants other than that one.
Been a
The
motion.
rest of the consent agenda, I'm sorry.
Motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of warrant number 100017.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Acting on item number 100017.
I make a motion that would be approved.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Item 9 is public hearings. I don't believe we have any this evening. We'll go to item 10, regular business. A, appointment of members to fill the vacancies of the Parks and Recreation Commission. And I see that we do have one applicant present with us this evening, so if we'd like to address that. The individual who applied as the school representative, Austin Ramos, is not present. I would like to pull his name from the application. I think if you're interested in serving on a committee, at least show up for the meeting. So if council consensus, I'd like to remove his name from consideration.
So moved.
I agree.
Okay. And we want to act on Sebastian Rangel, who is present, has reapplied as a former recreation commissioner, and wishes to be reappointed to that position.
We have any questions of me?
Anybody have any questions? He's a former member. He's the only one who's applied, and so I think we were going to forego the interview process.
Right.
If consensus of the members is that. If not, I think Michael may have a list of questions.
If you were so interested.
I think we approve it.
I
second that.
I would agree to that. So a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve Sebastian Rangel.
I second that motion.
And a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome back aboard.
Congratulations.
And I don't know if we want to re-advertise for the
We
student.
actually are advertising again.
Okay.
We'll hit the paper on Thursday because we also have, since Tom has left, we have that vacancy on the
Planning Commission. Great.
You ought to increase the pay.
How many people do we have left on the planning commission?
We are one short in each of the commissions now. At least
Including
recreation.
Tom, or does that make two short with Tom?
Tom would just be the one.
Just one, okay.
Great. Okay, so we'll re-advertise then. All right, we'll go on to item B, report on the Newman Chamber of Commerce request to hold an event in the downtown plaza area. Lieutenant Short?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Tonight we have a request by the Newman Chamber of Commerce to hold an event in the downtown plaza scheduled for August 6th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The event is to be a car show, classic car show titled A Hot Night in Newman. It will have classic cars there in the plaza parking lot. 65 have been invited. There is no number yet as to how many have been confirmed. There will be a DJ there until 9 p.m. and this will be a no alcohol event. This event has no conflicts with other community events. And the Chamber of Commerce has made the following request: exclusive use of the plaza and the 1300 block of Main Street with street closures at Main and Tulare and Main and Fresno. Use of the plaza restroom facilities and electrical power at the location. The Chamber has also requested a waiver on these items here that I'm about to present to you. The day of operation, this would be a Saturday event per downtown standards that were enacted in 2006. Sunday's the preferred day, but they're requesting this to be a Saturday event. Hours of operation, this event is scheduled until 9 p.m. per the standards. Events are to end at 7. Music hours of operations, amplified music is scheduled until 9 in this event. Per standards, music are to cease at 6. The planning time frame, this planning has been brought to us about 30 days in advance, where the standards say 60. The cleanup deposit, they would like to be waived. The downtown standards require a $1,000 deposit, refunded upon satisfactory cleaning of the area. The Chamber of Commerce assures staff that they will thoroughly clean up the plaza. They would like to waive business licenses for the vendors that will be there. They would like the insurance reduced from $3 million to $1 million. And also traffic and control devices, city-owned barricades would be utilized. All other standards for downtown events would still apply. Event organizers have prepared 2 configurations for the event. Plan A has the 1300 block of Main Street closed for classic car parking, and the west parking lot of the plaza would also be used for that type of the event, with the east parking lot for parking, standard car parking. Plan B has a 1300 block of Main Street open and uses the entire plaza and parking lot for classic vehicle parking. Plan A would be the ideal closure or for the event structure, but Plan B could be utilized based on how many cars actually are invited to attend or actually confirm that they will attend. Staff recommends staffing this event with 2 uniformed police officers, and projected overtime cost shouldn't exceed $700, but it's probably closer to $400 would be the amount of overtime that would be required for this event. And staff's recommendation is that all applicable costs be invoiced to the Chamber of Commerce for police officer overtime. And based on the information contained in this report, following options are available. You can approve the event as indicated or reject the event. And Vicki Lucas is here tonight. If you have any questions that I cannot answer, she can probably answer those for you.
Before I call Madam President up to the podium, any questions of the Lieutenant Short? Madam President Lucas, would you like to address the council in any shape, form, or matter? Please come to the podium and state your case. You can hit me later.
Mayor, council members, Vicki Lucas, Newman Chamber of Commerce. Thank you this evening. I appreciate it. We made just one small change, and that is the DJ. I've asked them to play from 5 to 8:30. That will allow time to get the event to wind down and try to get the plaza cleared out by 9:30. So that's about the only change I've made. We really haven't been doing a big advertising on this pending approval from the council. So once I get approval this evening, then we can move forward and I can start hitting some car shows and throwing some flyers in cars and get some more people to attend. So we're going to start diligently working on the booths, the craft booths, the food booths. We're going to limit the food booths to 10 and the craft booths to 15. So a total of about 25 booths. That's about it. We're looking forward to it. I think that it's just going to be a wonderful event. It's going to be bring the people downtown, come grab a sandwich, listen to some music, check out some classic cars. You know, make it a family event. It can be a family event because it's not going to be overly large. It's going to be a smaller scale. It's a test run. We're going to see how it works out. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to bring the people downtown and see Newman.
So am I, and I like the idea of the Plan A or Plan B, and that's something you can adjust on that particular day. So, and I think it's important that we do everything we can to help support the chamber as they help promote and support Newman. So, if there's no other questions of Lieutenant Short or Mrs. Lucas, council direction.
I just got a couple of questions, Mr. Mayor. Is there a theater production that night?
There is, and I have talked to David and Ferris Larson, and they're more the merrier. So they're happy for any event happening downtown that can bring people into their event. And actually, on our flyer, we do specify that they come and check out the presentation that evening at the theater and to visit our merchants downtown and in the surrounding area.
And the only other thing I have is not actually for Vicki or Brett. Do we need to revisit our standards now that we have a downtown plaza?
We can bring those back and just have the council relook at those. I mean, it's been a number of years since we adopted those. Yeah, we can bring those back in a future meeting, the next 2 or 3 meetings, have that back before you. You can evaluate them, see how they still work. If some are outdated, we can update them. If some are no longer applicable, we can delete them. We can raise or delete things. So.
The only reason I bring that up is because we didn't have a place for downtown events per se like we have with the downtown plaza. So that was the one reason that I was.
And I agree, but I also think it's important that we retain the right to selectively choose.
Oh, absolutely.
Events and make sure that the right insurance bonds are in place, and that the monetary issues are addressed well ahead of time, so we're not stuck with money like we were a few years ago, like we are still stuck with. But yeah, I agree. I think we can take a look at those. But I certainly think anything that our chamber participates in, we totally support and help them out any way they can. And so, but I agree. I think we can take a look at some of those.
And was there a reason that A was preferred over B?
Yeah, because if I get 65 cars that I'm hoping for, I won't have room in the plaza.
Okay.
So we'll have to spread out. At that point, we're going to have to, the recommendation is 1.5 stalls per car. So they have a little bit of breathing room for doors to open and such. If we get more cars than we're thinking, then we're probably going to have to put them down in the one slot and just kind of keep an eye on how many cars we're getting versus how much spot and space we have for them to park. So,
do you have some contacts, Vicki? I mean, as far as car clubs and
yeah,
things?
I've been working with West Side Auto Club and Don Gomez, and he's been just fantastic.
Yeah.
This is kind of new to me, and
Yeah.
so I find it very interesting. I like to learn new things.
Well, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Anything's going to bring people to our downtown area, and again, to showcase our beautiful plaza. I think it'd be great to have cars scattered throughout our plaza.
I just think it would be a great photo op.
Yeah. Yeah.
Old time cars sitting in the plaza and then by the theater, and have the theater lit up that night because there's a show going on. I just think it's going to be a really nice showcase.
I know there's also a Corvette club out of Merced that has a lot of the older style Corvettes as well as some of the newer cars. So. I think I have a flyer for them or a name, a contact person.
Okay.
I can get you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Okay.
more the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Library.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Newman Chamber of Commerce event scheduled at the Downtown Plaza on August 6, 2011 from 5 to 9 p.m.
I'll second that motion.
Is that including waive the standards as written?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Motion and a second. All approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Hope to see everybody there too. August 6th.
Alrighty, go on to item C. Report on the 2011 Newman Fall Festival. Lieutenant Short, you're up again.
Back again.
Jeez, Chief, good job with delegation.
How nice of him, huh? Fall Festival this year had a little bit of a derailment earlier in the year, but they're back on track with some new faces to get our event organized, and they're well on their way to getting Fall Festival where it should be this year. I've been assured that Fall Festival will be the same as last year as far as the event style and the closures for roads. This year, the routine street closures will be the same as last. It'll be R Street between Fresno and Tulare from Wednesday the 31st from 5 a.m. to Monday, September 5th at noon. That's where the carnival will be. Fresno Street closed between R and Q on September the 3rd from 5.
Brett, just real quick.
Sure.
Is that the one that they submitted? 'Cause I know they were talking about Fresno Street from Q to S Street. Because they were talking about wanting to have the 3-on-3 basketball between S and R on Fresno.
The meeting last Thursday,
Okay.
we talked about this, and they didn't mention
Okay.
and didn't mention that to me. They said everything was going to be the same.
That was brought up to me by the event organizer,
Uh-huh.
and we both agreed that they have plenty of room in the one block because the events don't overlap.
Okay.
That they have plenty of room to do it in just the one block, and
Okay.
that for parking and everything else, it would not be a wise idea.
Okay.
And Tulare Street will be closed from R to Q on Sunday the 4th from 7 to 7. This is typically where the car show is, or the older cars are parked. Q Street will be closed from Fresno to Tulare from Saturday the 3rd from 5 till Monday the 5th at noon. This will be where the kids zone will be, and a bounce house and climbing wall is supposed to be there again this year. Fall Festival Parade Street closures from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday the 4th. Same route, Main Street closed from Mariposa to Merced, Merced Street from Main to P, P Street from Merced to Fresno, and Fresno Street from Pew to Key. Oh, Pew.
Yeah.
P to Q. This will also include S Street, closed between Kern and Mariposa for the horses. The Fall Festival has secured their $3 million insurance and liability policy, with the city named as additional insured. The staff is currently working with Fall Festival Committee, as well as Public Works Director or his assistant, to help them out with anything that we can help them with. Let's see. Other requests not covered by the committee are the waive the business license fees for vendors in the park, exclusive use of the city park for the Fall Festival, waive the permit to have alcohol in the park, and also authorize the use of the entire city park as a beer garden, which has been approved by ABC in previous years. Police Department will fully staff this event with all officers that are available for payback days and reserve officers. Now that we have a couple new reserve officers joining us, we should have plenty of people in the park. Fall Festival Committee will be hiring private security again this year to have someone in the carnival area at all times, and also for the overnight vendor security from the event closure time until someone arrives in the morning. Overtime for this event can vary. Generally, it does not exceed $3,000. The police department will fully staff this, and this report is submitted for city council consideration and action.
Any questions of Lieutenant Short?
This is not budgeted this year, Michael?
It is not. It has not been budgeted for the last couple of years. To make up that $1,000 difference, our chiefs have been working with the Fall Festival Committee and trying just to maintain the adequate level of staffing, to use reserves, use payback days, and all the like. So we do everything we can to work with the Fall Festival Committee to keep their cost as low as possible.
If we do have overtime, though, does it come directly out of the police overtime budget?
We have, the past 2 years that I'm aware of, there has been no money out of the overtime budget. It's been payback days, and the Fall Festival Committee has paid for the reserves.
Any other questions? Council direction?
I'd recommend we approve the annual Fall Festival as written with the different waivers as noted.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Lieutenant. All right. We'll go to item D, acceptance of the appraisal for 938 Fresno Street property. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Tonight's agenda item is the acceptance of the appraisal for 938 Fresno Street. As you know, we went into closed session back in May, and we ended up putting an offer on this building. It's the IOF building located on the corner of Fresno and Main Street. It's a two-story building, 15,000 square foot. As part of the terms for our offer to them, we included an appraisal that we paid for, and to make sure that the building appraised at that price. You have the full appraisal in front of you. As a council, members of the public got the executive summary. The appraisal price did come back at $980,000. In addition to those, we've had our technology consultant look at the building as well to try to give us some ideas on what it's going to take to upgrade the building to help us move into the second floor. And when I say we, it'd be City Hall, Public Works Administration, and ultimately the City Council chamber. As part of that, we have a copy of his letter there. There's about $120,000 worth of technology security costs. And the cameras, some security cameras in the halls in the building, probably password code protected doorways so people aren't entering spaces that they should not be entering, and the like. As you can see there, that letter was as part of your package as well. The chamber, we haven't fully gotten all the costs there. Originally, he was indicating about $25,000. A new conversation with him, he thinks that it may be up, maybe even double that, but we don't really know. We believe we can use a lot of the technology we already have. The cameras, the sound system could probably move with that, or chairs can move with it. There is going to be a significant expense as part of moving that in, though we haven't fully vetted that part yet. Building the dais, designing that room and all the like, is probably something we're going to do after we secure it. I think we need to secure it for City Hall purposes, and then we evaluate when we can ultimately move the chamber there. I mean, this is working for us really well here. As you can tell, we really don't burst out the doors too much in terms of crowds, and that's quite a larger building. So I think the transition, though, ultimately we'd like to move there with the elevator and the other things. It will be possible, but time constraints really put a damper on being able to give you a cost estimate for that part of it. We've looked at some things that, if we needed to do a backup generator there, if we deem that to be like an EOC or something like that, a critical building, we'll want a backup generator to go there. We could do that in the old boiler room. We're thinking there's, from a staff level, there may be some possibilities there, and you're probably looking at $40,000-$50,000 range maybe for that. Closing costs are going to be about $5,500, and we just we're meeting with wardens tomorrow, and we've gotten some floor plans to another furniture provider, and they're going to provide us some numbers for your next meeting. So really what we're looking at right now is, what I can tell you is $980 would be the purchase price, $5,500 in closing cost. Technology and security, which we believe would be something that we'd want to do up front and need to do up front, about at $120. And then we're going to come back to you with the furnishings for the offices. So at that point, you're at 1.1 with another $5,500 in closing cost is what we're probably looking at. Plus furnishings, again, I think furnishings, by the time we carpet it, there's a lot of it we're going to need to carpet to help control sound, and we'll get the furniture people to come in, another another $125,000, $150,000 for furnishings of 5,000 square feet of building space. About 1.25 is about where we're going to be for that, but we're going to bring that back. What I'm asking you to do tonight is accept the appraisal price, accept those other reports, and if you're comfortable, direct staff to complete the rest of the documents to close by the end of this month. And then at our next council meeting, you'll adopt the resolution that allows the final purchase to go down.
I have a couple questions, Michael.
Sure.
Did these people actually come to Newman who did the appraisal?
Oh yeah.
They did.
He walked it. Oh yeah, he walked it. I don't know if Mike was there, but I was there. Mr. Borelli, our realtor, was there. They walked it. They took pictures. They did.
How much did this cost us? The appraisal.
$3,500.
Well, I know this is a pretty well-respected company, but I've got some issues. And I've talked to some real estate people, brokers, appraisal people, and the document is I think incomplete, incorrect. Page 15, we don't have a big old Chevrolet Buick anymore. We don't have a Patchett's Ford Mercury anymore.
I saw those.
It's a boilerplate. I'm curious if they even came out there, if they even know what Newman looks like.
I literally saw Mr. Cogdale. They were on the site. They were taking pictures. They're doing all that. I think they probably pulled that at your. I know.
Yeah, I don't know how they can use that kind of data. You know, those people haven't been around for years. And reading the appraisal, I fully support this. Although, and I still have some issues, you know, with the ADA compliance of the stairs. I'm not sure what we can do to make that. Even though there's an elevator, something that sticks in my craw is the fact that we need to make sure that our city hall and our city hall staff is accessible and available to the public.
Sure.
And believe it or not, there's some people who aren't comfortable with elevators. And we take things for granted as, you know, just push a button, go up. Some people aren't that way. I think, and one friend of mine, you know, told me today that his mother just recently came in City Hall. Something she does on a routine basis. 83 years old, comes in, pays her water bill, takes care of business. Being that we can't use those stairs, and I'm not sure how we can make those compliant, but the problem I have, and I know I mentioned to you before, I think it's imperative that we have a pay center downstairs. We have to have something downstairs that people can walk in off the street and take care of some city business. I have some concerns about our city staff not being readily available to our community. Quite frankly, some people, you know, if our city manager or other staff are upstairs not available, like they have the access easily now, they're not going to have it when we go there. So I think, and I've talked to a contractor who did the work down there, and he told me there is a way, and I haven't been able to go down and meet with him yet to take a look at it, but I know, and I just truly believe in my heart that we need to have something downstairs to make it friendly, easy, public accessible, where people can walk in on the bottom level floor, pay their water bill, maybe ask some questions. You know, we have a staff member down there that can, like the girls who take the bills in here now, that we have somebody downstairs. I know there's one of those suites that's probably smaller and would be good use, but it's occupied. You know, so, but I would ask this council to take that into consideration, that when we start doing some remodeling to make it, you know, public ready, that we really look at that downstairs, that we make a pay center, that we have something downstairs that people can come in and take care of their city business, you know, in terms of paying water bills and those kinds of things. And, you know, in the report, you know, it talks about the market trends and you know, a lot of things that have gone on over the years that we're all fully aware. I still think it's a great purchase for the city of Newman. I fully support it. And we can't build anything anywhere near that for the price we're going to get it. However, I was kind of disturbed that this company, who is well known as they are, uses boilerplate information, and I think it's shoddy myself, and I would like to make sure that they make those corrections. I don't know that anybody would ever challenge the document as it is, you know, as far as an appraisal, but to list businesses that don't even exist, and that those two businesses employ 44 people, and they're not even here, to me is weak. So I would like to make sure that Mr. Cogdale and his partner Giomi come out and, or at least submit a document that correctly states the facts for our city.
And I would have to, I also looked at that, Mr. Mayor, and not a whole lot of angst over it, but there is just a lot of boilerplate language in there that, I know they use boilerplate language, but when you're using things that don't even exist, it is kind of weird. The only other thing that I was looking at was, and I didn't know, City Manager Holland, if you were going talk about the letter we got from Mike Brinkman?
Yes, we had our building official walk it.
Because it does talk about some of the concerns that Ed was just talking about.
Yeah, there's issues with respect to the current stairs don't meet code, and we've talked about that before. And then there's the doors we have to probably change out the doors or the hardware on the doors. They're a little bit heavy from current code. So we either put in a electronic opener where you push a button and they open automatically for you, or you change out the doors and make them lighter. There's different ways that we can handle the steps. It's not out of the question that they couldn't be rebuilt. They could. Because it's a historical building, we do meet code on that.
I'm sure that, we're not gonna be able to use those, and we're gonna have to seal those off, and whether or not we want to go through the expense at some point in time to make those.
Yeah. We wouldn't seal them off.
Well,
we would use them.
But would it create a liability for us?
What Mr. Brinkman talked about is you put a placard in the front that say, and currently these stairs don't meet ADA current code requirements. If you have accessibility issues, there's an elevator right on the side for you that you can come around and then access the second floor from that.
Yeah, and I think when we get to that point again, and I'm gonna strongly argue and fight for it, that we have a pay center downstairs. We have something downstairs that the public can come in and take care of city business. That we can have a staff member down there. Another thing, if they need to make appointments to see you or other staff people, so be it. They can use the elevators to get there. But it bothers me that people won't have access, to quickly come in and pay their bills and take care of business.
Well, and I don't know. Everybody has full access to us on the second floor. The doors are always open in terms of accessibility. Someone can walk in, either take the elevator or go up the stairs, go in the building, and there'll be secretaries there, there'll be people there it's not walled off, it's not all secured. There's literally a spot that's open to the public, 8 to 5, just like we have.
No, I understand
that.
And my point being, my point being is I still feel that if somebody just wants to come in and pay their water bill and garbage bill, sewer bill, that we can have a receptionist, whether it be Alicia or whoever mans our desk now, that person can be located downstairs, and somebody can quickly come in and take care of the business. That's the only thing I'm saying. Right. Just because I know, some people, Michael, some people aren't comfortable getting in elevators and things.
Mayor, I think your points are very valid. I think this is the conversation we'll have as when we decide to move forward.
Okay.
Because there are obviously different ways. The city county building in Modesto, you got to go upstairs to make payments. It's really just going to come down to the council and their preference.
I understand, and I think I'm just cementing my thoughts.
Right.
And I don't care what Modesto does. I don't care what Turlock and Bells does.
I'm saying though, there's different options. The old Novoa jeweler spot is right next door to the stairwell.
Right.
That could lead into it. The one at the very end, actually, we've talked about maybe securing that for city use because there's a stairwell that goes up the back, and we want to maybe protect that a little bit better. So we discussed a lot of those things.
Just planting the seed.
Yeah.
This SB 1608 Certified Access Program, would we have to make changes in order to get anything like that? Because I guess we'll show the public that the city of Newman is providing a fully disabled access facility.
No, Mr. Brinkman's position is at this point in time, we're still fully accessible because of the elevator. Okay. And as long as we make the modifications to the doors and make them accessible in terms of whether we use the button that opens up automatically or whether we put on new doors that are lighter, we will be 100% compliant with ADA.
I'm listening to all this, and the motion is acceptance of appraisal for 1938 Fresno Street, and all this other stuff has nothing to do with it at this point. we're asking to accept appraisal. And I'd like to make a motion that we accept appraisal for 938 Fresno Street and direct staff to prepare final documents for purchase of property.
Would you add the caveat that the appraiser changes language on page 15?
I would agree to that, too.
Thank you. There's been a
And
motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second that we approve the acceptance of the appraisal for 938 Fresno Street with the change of language on page 15.
Amen.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, let's go to item 11. And item Supervisor M. DeMartini is not present. We'll go to item 12, items from city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor. We will be continuing to advertise for an opening on the Recreation Commission and one on the Planning Commission. I know we've already received at least one application for the Planning Commission. However, because we haven't fully public noticed it, we need to go through that period to let everybody have an opportunity on there. So hopefully we have that scheduled for you at your first meeting in August is our plan. The annual League of California City Conference is coming up in September. Please coordinate with Mike Meyer if you're interested in that. It is Northern California's year to host. So that will be within driving distance, which is San Francisco this year. So please, again, coordinate with Mike Meyer if you're interested. Sooner the better, because, as you know, the host hotel will sell out real quick. So. A few meetings ago, this council was generous and helped out the city of Oakdale in a bind when we allowed them to use some of our home funds. As a token of their appreciation, they've sent a Sconza Candy Company package to us. Yeah, it's right behind you over there in the corner there. So, as you know, Sconza took over the Hershey's plant, so it's all Oakdale product over there. So. Newman family apartments are now open. The council should be committed. If you drive by, it's a beautiful looking structure, and they got a playground out there for the kids and some umbrellas for the families and stuff. So I think that's going to be a really good project for the community. You know, it always comes down to management. So I know our police department will work with them. We had some. I think initially we had some issues with the one on Prince Road. Until our police department got a lot of calls out there, and then finally our police department worked and finally got a good manager in there, and it seems to be like, you know, the call volume is down pretty significantly out there. Hopefully we won't have to go through the growing pains here, but a lot of times what happens is, you know, some of the bad seeds tend to jump ship and try to get over there, and it takes a while for the management to go ahead and get those out, and so we think that'll, with the diligence of our police department, we don't foresee long-term problems there. We did submit our grant application for the pool. That is on time. The unfortunate part is, in the state of California, in all its wisdom, has now basically eliminated your redevelopment agencies. So we are very challenged. We went into closed session and talked about selling some property recently. That's on hold because we cannot do any new agreements until we do the payola, like the mafia says. We got to do an ordinance agreeing to pay them money for our survival. And unfortunately, our assemblywoman was a supporter of this, and our state senator was not. So as of October, I believe, 1st, if we do not adopt an ordinance before then, our redevelopment agencies would, in essence, be dead. They also include a poison pill that says if we challenge it legally, you're dead anyway. So I don't know what the state's doing.
We ought to succeed from the state.
We should. I mean, there's a push by one Riverside County supervisor
to do that. Yeah.
I think it came all the way up to Madera County. I mean, we're not that far away. We could probably join in and
squeeze it up.
The state of California is
Well,
really,
hasn't
really
the league-
squeezing us, and I think the residents in the state really need to start paying attention and listening, and I hope that they're out there today because, I mean, this state is in dire need right now. I mean, it's a smoke and mirrors budget. We're probably going to be $10 billion in the hole. They're trying to steal it from us, which means you don't get projects, you being our constituents here in Newman. They stole VLF money from us, and then what they said, they took VLF money from us, about $38,000. But then they gave us $100,000 in COPS funding, which we've traditionally got for a number of years now. So we're really losing out on the 37 we lost in VLF, but they're saying you should be happy because we're giving you the $100,000 in COPS funding. The difference is it's VLF are 100% general fund, non-discretionary funds that the council has. COPS funding is tied to public safety, and so I think that was one way to keep the public safety supporters happy. We'd like to see them both come back to us. The good thing is we're still positive on it. City of the largest city in our county, they're losing a tune of $250,000 because of that VLF swap, and VLF means vehicle licensing fees. Orange County, I think, is losing $40 million, and so it's not good. It's not good, and I know our residents of this great state, passed Prop 1A and they passed Prop 22, and the state just kind of thumbs their nose at them. And we sat in on a webinar today with our CRA, which is the California Redevelopment Agency Association, and they're going to be filing a lawsuit here within the next few days, they tell us. But it's very frustrating because that's all we sued them over the last ERAS shift, and I think most of our members of our community don't know the state of California over the last 2 years stole $500,000 from this community in local tax dollars. Property taxes paid by our residents that should have came to local projects have now been shifted to the state of California, and they're going to keep that money. This year, the payola is $320,000. I think Lou's going to give you a little bit more. If we don't agree to pay them $320,000 this year, your agency's dead. And so that's basically what they're telling you. So I mean, it really is. Again, in some states this is considered illegal. I think they do it in like New York and Boston, some of those large cities. There's some enterprises that do this. We'll burn down your building if you don't pay us protection. So, yeah. So I think I'm gonna leave the rest to Lou. He sat in on the webinar too. He probably has a little bit more information. And then lastly, I told our rec supervisor, Ms. House, that I would let everybody know we have movie night coming up July 23rd. Yogi the Bear. There is also a movie night. Unfortunately, it's the same night as our car show, but maybe we can advertise at our car show that people can go to Barrington afterwards, because the movie doesn't start till about 9 anyways, because it's when it gets dark. And that one will be Despicable Me. So those are the next two movie nights, which will be July 23rd and August 6th.
Where's that at with location?
Sherman. Bring your blankets. It's actually a really good time. I know. I've seen Councilmember Martina out there before, and we have a great time out there. So it's a great time for free entertainment for your family. So I encourage everyone to come out if you can. So with that, I'm going to ask Lou to come up and talk a little bit more about RDA real quick.
Yogi Bear's good. I've seen that.
Was there any questions of me before Lou started in?
I'm sorry. Any questions, Michael? Do we know? Do we know the status of the? I'm sorry, Bob. The status of the lawsuit from the league. Have they?
Yes, the league and the CRA are joining together again. They indicated to us within the next couple days they hope to be filing it. We probably won't get any kind of stay until they're thinking mid-August before we would hear anything from any judge. Here's the thing: 2 years ago, with the Seraph payment, the $400,000 they stole from us, we filed a lawsuit. We won, and then they went on an appeal, and it's still going through the process, and we still had to pay another $80,000 this year. So you're up to $500,000, And then basically what they tell us is, even if we win, they're going to say, okay, go to the school district. We don't have your money. Go to the school district and get it from them. Well, that's a no-win situation for us.
Right.
You know, what are we going to do? Sue our school district, you know, for money? So,
Well, what everybody should know, though, is, you know, our Senator Anthony Cannell has really been fighting the fight for us. Our Assemblyperson Kathleen Galgiani sold us out. I had a lot of calls into her and got to the point where she won't call me back now, but she sold us out. And she's termed out, but she's going to run for another office, so hopefully you don't vote for her. So sell you out again.
We won't. I won't.
So, Kathleen Galgiani, she's your assembly person. Sell out.
I was really surprised.
She's a thief. I wasn't.
and
No,
if members of the
I
public would like to call her in Sacramento and voice their frustration,
Call her office,
we
Merced.
would not be upset.
Call her office.
In Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Go see her in Sacramento.
Yep. Yeah, she's a sellout. Sorry.
Absolutely. In essence, what happened on June 29th was that ABX 126 and 27 were both signed. 26 is the one that eliminates the RDA. 27 is the pay-to-play bill. If we make the payment, we get to continue with what we're doing. Like Michael said, October 1st is our deadline to pass a city ordinance. That city ordinance, in essence, says that the city is responsible for making the payment and that the RDA will refund the city those amounts. So it's the city that's making the obligation and not the RDA. The amount that Michael was saying was correct. They're requesting, it's an estimated $324,000. They have not published the exact amount yet. These are numbers that are estimated from the CRA. Every year after that, it's estimated a $76,000 payment to continue. At any time, we can rescind the city ordinance, and basically ABX 26 would then become in effect. The RDA would be dissolved. Should the stay, or actually the CRA is asking for two different things, a stay and also they're filing a lawsuit. The courts can decide to stay all of it or a piece of it. It's completely up to them. And let's see, yeah, Michael's correct. The last 2 years, they took a total of $485,822 from our RDA, which pretty much strapped it. And currently, we have budgeted an ending fund balance around $7,000. Should this go through, the laws allow us to withhold the $100,000 tax increment that normally goes to the low moderate income housing fund and transfer that over to the RDA. However, under the SARF payment as before, we could borrow money from the low to moderate income housing. Under this, we cannot. So in essence, our estimated ending balance would be a negative 200,000+ on our RDA. The low to moderate income housing fund would be fine. It's still around 700,000. And yeah, then Michael also mentioned about the VLF. In essence, the 100,000 that comes into us goes into Fund 72, but because we cover all of our expenses under the general fund police services, that money goes right into our general fund. We had budgeted a $65,000 deficit. This would be approximately $62,000 increase, so it would take out a significant portion of that deficit by itself. Any questions on the RDA or VLF?
So we get
So we
the
lose
deficit back for the cops, but we lose our VLF for any other projects that we might want to do.
in essence.
That makes perfect sense. The one question okay, 324,000 the first year,
Yes.
right? And then 76,000 annually. Do we have any idea what we would receive back out of that 324,000? Or would we receive anything back, or is that a crapshoot?
We get to continue playing.
Playing what?
RDA. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. We would be, I think the question is, we would be net positive the following year, but the RDA would then be paying the city back for the 200 we had to lend it to keep paying. So right now our tax increment is $400,000.
400,000. Plus we also have bond debts that we make payments on.
Yeah.
So in other words, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
The trouble is, this is so new and we don't have all the numbers. We're going to have to come back to you with a full report. We just kind of want to give you a broad brush, 30,000 foot level view of this. At this point in time, your staff will go back and evaluate whether or not we want to continue as a redevelopment agency. Does it make economic sense for this community to do that? And if it does, then we'll bring that full report to you with an ordinance that you could adopt that allows us to continue to play if we pay.
In essence, that's correct. Other than that, the Springbrook conversion, we're live on that software now. We've completed the payroll, utility billing, accounts payable. The last piece that we're installing is accounts receivable, and that'll be done by the end of this week. And the only remaining pieces that we're doing right now in our old software is just posting end-of-year adjustments and activities that are related to last year. Other than that, the conversion went very well. The finance staff really stepped up. They've been used to that old software for a long time. Sometimes it's kind of hard to change over, but they were very motivated. They stuck with it. In some cases, stayed after hours a bit to get it all done. And I really appreciate them. Even with some of our employees having to be out due to injury, they stepped up and covered and got it done. That's all I have.
Any questions of Lou?
That's enough, isn't it, Lou?
All right, thanks, Lou. Chief?
And what good news do you have for us,
That's the good news. Out with the negativity. In with the positive. It's exciting time at the Newman Police Department. You guys met Ron Elsing tonight. Next council meeting, you'll meet Ashley Williams, who will be our second reserve. She'll be sworn in tomorrow morning, the formal swearing in, and then the ceremonial swearing in at the next council meeting. Also like to invite all of you out there to come check out our Facebook page. Look at the cute puppies. See, that's positive. Look at the cute, adopt a cute puppy. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Chief, I have one question. I don't know if I should be directing the question to you or not. Cameras, are our cameras up and running?
Cameras are up and running. We're still working on the recording portion of it, but they're up and running.
Yeah, because I wonder, because I know there was some activity at the plaza the other day, and skateboarders and stuff like that, and I just wonder if that's being recorded and if there's any way to identify the people there.
The recording, we're still having issues a little bit with the recording stuff. The cameras are active. I know our police department can go on and see live versions of it. I think some of that recording, the recording piece is where we're fine tuning it.
Okay.
I was down there.
Fine tuning the position of the cameras as well.
I was down there last Friday night about 1 in the morning with our IT person and looking at the cameras. They're very nice. They work very well.
Oh, okay. But you're just getting a live feed, you're not?
I was getting a live feed, correct.
Yeah, just not. At some point, will they be able to transfer that live feed to the patrol cars? I mean, is that?
That's our goal, yes.
Yeah.
And you can't view it over the web right now. So like the chief can view it from his office.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have to monitor it.
The problem we have with that is we do all our dispatching and our firewall goes to the sheriff's department. They will not allow our net mobility or whatever it is to transfer through. DOJ will not allow it to transfer through the sheriff's department firewall at this point. If down the road we can venture off and make our own firewall, then we would be allowed to do like Ripon does. But it would take us from leaving the sheriff's department's firewall.
Great. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
When will we have the ability to record?
Any day. Yeah, they're actively working on it. I mean, it's something that I'm not happy about. So they'll be.
If they're not happy, we're not happy.
They're not happy, and I shared that today. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Are you sure?
We got a question. Yeah.
Nice try, though.
It's a simple question.
Yes, sir.
Are the bathrooms completed yet, or are they still not quite there?
The remaining items left on the bathrooms, they need to put the doors on the stalls and put the handicap rails, and those are on order. They had to wait until we kind of moved priorities and worked on getting the camera area ready so they could put the brain inside the middle stall between the two bathrooms. So we shifted, got that completed, and I just talked to the contractor yesterday or today, and he said that the rest of that's on order. Our goal is to have them in place by the time that the event at the plaza will be there.
Very good. The other question is, would they be open to the general public at a certain time of the day, or?
We haven't really talked about that too much amongst staff. I don't think we really made a decision on that.
I think we're gonna go a trial run on it and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Get our cameras up and running, get
Well,
everything dialed in, and then maybe if it's an 8 to 5, 8 to 4 type thing, to where Public Works can open them when they come in, close them before they go home type thing.
My concern is, we have people coming into this town, and where do they go to use the restroom? I mean, a place
Right.
of business or something like that. So.
Yeah, we're gonna do it on a test. We're gonna do it on a trial basis to make and see what kind of response we get from our police department customers, and so hopefully we won't get a.
They were all down on Main Street at 6 o'clock tonight.
I noticed it's already become a hangout behind the bathrooms. My sister was here for a family funeral, and so I was showing her the plaza. We were walking there Sunday, and there was a few that were behind. Instead of having breakfast, they were drinking their breakfast behind the bathrooms.
Liquid breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast of champions. Back in my younger days. But, so I noticed it's already become a hangout.
We addressed that Sunday afternoon.
Did you? Okay, good. Yeah.
I was down there this morning and there was nobody hanging out back there.
And the Christmas tree will now grow faster.
But I showed my sister the plaza. She was here from Texas, and she was quite impressed. So.
Back to your question on the bathrooms, though, as far as locking them and stuff. Currently, we do lock our bathrooms. They're only open during business hours, and I think that was the intent, is to do the trial run, see how that goes. If we're starting to have issues, immediately just lock them back down so that we don't have damage to the nice bathrooms that have been installed. The nice thing about these bathrooms, the walls that are on the interior part of it are not the metal walls. They're actually concrete CMU block, and they're filled with cement, so they can't damage the walls. The only thing they would be able to damage would be some of the fixtures, and we've located a lot of the fixtures, like the water heater is located inside the center wall, so they can't access that. So maybe the doors and the sink and the toilets are all they'd be able to access for damaged parts. But we purposely made the walls dividing the different stalls out of concrete, so that'll help. The Pioneer Park bathroom, they were not. There was a metal, and they kicked those apart and destroyed them. So we haven't replaced those yet.
Where's that at?
Pioneer Park
Pioneer
bathrooms. But if you get a chance to take a look at the bathrooms, I think architecturally they came out really nice.
It looks great. It really does.
And speaking of looking great, if you had a chance to drive down S&T Street, that project's completed. We're bringing that to council the next meeting for notice of completion. Really looks nice. The up and down is now gone. As you drive down there, it's nice and clean lines. We've had some good compliments from the residents in the area, and we're moving forward with the design for PQ&R to take care of the handicap ramp issue with the half pipes and things of that nature. Working on the old part of town as well.
Looks great. Any other questions of Garner? Okay.
Thank you.
Stephanie, anything? Donna?
Just a couple of things. Did receive a call from Senator Canella last week about Stephanie and I's presentation about the redistricting, and they have taken San Jose and that area, according to him, out of that, and they've gone back to a lot closer to where it was. So that was a positive, and he called me personally one night and was telling and thanking us for going up there along with everybody else. So the new maps were supposed to have been out on the 15th, but they're now not coming out till the 28th. Yeah, I have, but I think they're not going to be out till the 28th, so we'll have to hopefully see what that is. And then last Friday, I had the opportunity to sit in on the panel for the new school superintendent. And they had 8, of which probably 4 or 5 of them were outstanding candidates. And they met with 2 panels on Friday, and then they were to meet with the board then again Saturday morning, and I haven't heard yet what came of that. That's all I've got.
Great. Nick?
Nothing tonight.
Bob?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment on the Newman Chamber of Commerce. Vicki, you and all your workers should be commended for what you're doing, because we have this downtown plaza area, and I think this type of event is perfect venue for doing what you're doing. So much success to you and your group, and thank you so much. That's all I have.
Absolutely. And I would ditto that, Vicki. Excuse me? Sure, come on up.
Really quick, on July 28th, State Senator Anthony Canella's office is going to be doing a coffee meet and greet at State Farm Insurance. So they're going to bring coffee in, and Senator Canella is going to come down and chat with anybody that has any questions what's going on the state level. So again, that's July 28th. It's from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. It will be at State Farm Insurance, Michael Pasquarelli's office. 1335 Main Street, Newman. So.
I would hope so.
Well, I was just see if you're all awake still. Thank you.
Thanks, Vicki.
And Mayor, I did run into Senator Canella he was here, his son played in the All-Star Baseball Tournament this weekend. He says after things kind of settle down a little bit, he'd like to come and address the council as well.
Yeah, good. I would probably see him tomorrow. I gave up my mayor's date for this month and gave it to Riverbank, and I'm taking Chief Richardson as my guest. Secretary of Homeland Security Michael Dayton is speaking tomorrow at Mayor Bedueno's home in Riverbank. So we're hosting law enforcement and some other city managers and everything. So we'll be going to that, and it'll be interesting to hear his take on Homeland Security. So Chief and I will be attending that tomorrow. And thanks, Don, for sitting in on the superintendent interviews. I was out of state, and Stephanie, and you also for the redistricting. That was very important for us to make a showing, and really that shows by Anthony giving you a call that I'm sure he appreciated.
Yeah, he definitely appreciated it. Yeah, I was kind of surprised, 7:30 at night. Hey, Don. This is
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Who is this really?
Yeah. Anthony's a good guy, and he's working hard, so continue to support him. So with that, we'll adjourn for the night. Thank you.
So you think Tony's watching?